GG Blankies proudly presents Musings with Steve and Teresa. They're here to enlighten, entertain, and inform about issues they think are important. They want people to think about how positive actions make positive people. Their show is captured and linked to YouTube. The programs are listed in the archives of both Blog Talk Radio and YouTube video, and you can watch them as well as listen. Now on with the show.
Hello everyone, welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Our show is captured and linked to YouTube. The programs are listed in the archives of both Blog Talk Radio and YouTube as Musings with Steve and Teresa, and the links can be found on our Facebook page. You can watch us as well as listen. And strangely enough, we refer to our efforts as Musings with Steve and Teresa. I'm Steve, the co-host.
I'm Teresa, the other co-host.
And we're here to enlighten, entertain, inform about issues we think are important. We want people to think about how positive actions make positive people. We have an update of the Columbus Dispatch story, credit scars. You remember tales about the errors accumulating in the credit reports because the reporting agencies denied responsibility for the information reported. Since the agencies didn't want to spend the money to correct their data, the Columbus Dispatch suggested that maybe the authorities should. We ended our views with "Don't hold your breath." Well, their story has prompted government response, and we'll talk about the responses. Maybe we can breathe again. Maybe just a little. Alongside our peculiar humor, we have a commentary about healthcare and procedures and costs. We got blanket information for blankies, and we haven't given up our investigation of metaphysics, mediums, and the ideas related to the winter solstice of December 21st, 2012. We intend to explore these ideas with you as the opportunity develops over the next few weeks, and we'll talk more about it later. Terry, tell us about the new blankets coming for winter.
Okay, well, today I brought just some of the, what I call blanks. They're not quite blankies yet, so they're blanks. I brought some toy soldiers that looks like I put red gingham on the back, and we've got kitty cats with pink on the back. I think I also have ones with a different color. And we've got lighthouses with, it looks like clouds on the back. And then that one, we haven't come up with the name yet. I think it's stars and bugs, maybe. I don't know. But that's just a few of the blankies that are getting ready to start the fall blankies. And also I've decided to go with some fleece and flannel. And so those are gathering my fleeces and flannels to see what I have. So
in inventory process.
Yeah, and I'm going to make some bigger sizes, some crib blankets and toddler bed sized blankets. So I'm going to expand the line and get ready for the upcoming Christmas season.
Well, Terry, that's fantastic. We talked a lot during our Labor Day camp out there. Now why don't you express your views of camping out this Labor Day year?
Well, it's like I said before, we always have an annual camp out, and it always rains at least once, but this time it rained like every day. And one of my things that I like to do is, one reason to camp out is I get to play in the fire and build the fire and take care of the fire and make a big fire. And my brother-in-law had made us this really nice fire pit, and over the course of the time, he throws all kinds of stuff in there for me to start the fire. But everything was soaked. I mean, everything was soaked. And I don't like to use accelerants when I make fire. I just like to use my little lighter or some matches. So not too many people were there, and everybody's unpacking this and that. So I go down to the fire pit and see what's available, and it's like, oh. So I started building little fires, and I had to really start drying stuff out first. And so I found some dry grass, twisted it all up, made like a little wick, stuck it in the pile, and got that dried, and then that burned. Well, anyway, it took me 3 hours to get this fire started, to my satisfaction. It had some coals for the evening's campfire, which we all sit around, roast marshmallows, and just talk and have a good time. And But again, after that, it rained. You were there, you know, it rained. So the next day, it's time to start the fire again. And it's soaked, and I'm trying. By then, the other family members have arrived, and they're impatient for fire. And so I acquiesced, and I said, all right. I was going to get some newspaper, but Pops here says just suck it up and use accelerant. So he gave me charcoal lighter fluid, and then we made fire. It's like, all right. But I really don't. I missed 3 hours. I had a big blazing fire, and I kept drying out the wood, and yeah. But it's always fun. I enjoy fire, and I enjoy camp out. Thank you.
The granddaughter, Shani, she's 3 years old, and this is her first adventure in the big world, and she just ran up and down. Now, she will remember this for the rest of her life.
So, yeah.
And the area will be big as 2 football fields.
Right.
And the people will all be giants, and the tents will be these mountainous structures that she could run in and out of. I have memories myself of that time.
Yeah.
That was the year that Dad allowed me to shoot the shotgun.
You remember that?
We were down on the riverbank, and he worked at a gas station, and he had a 2-gallon can of gasoline, but he just put water in it. It was a tin can.
Yeah.
And we sat it down there, and he sat on the riverbank and with the gun in cradled, and I got in between his legs, and he let me pull the trigger, and it went boom, and I put my hands over my ears, and the water bucket, the target just exploded. And he said, now that'll happen to you if you get in front of it. And I never played with the loaded shotgun until I got big enough to pick it up anyway.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Shane will remember things, because the camp, it's at my sister's property, and it's safe, nothing but family. So she was turned loose, and she just run from tent to tent, and just having a grand time, and singing, dancing. Oh, I never saw that little kid sing so much. She just marching, you know, follow me everywhere. It was a great time, but I like fire, and it's better without accelerant.
And it only rained at night for the most part.
But half the fun is camp out is we sit up half the night playing in the fire and looking at the stars. And
yeah, well, it did rain on the fire. Yes.
Yeah.
Got a thing here found in the Columbus Dispatch Sunday paper.
In the paper.
And it's a report on something that they're going to do. One of the things that happens is you go to the doctor with a sinus infection, and he says, well, I'll give you some antibiotics. Well, it turned out that statistically that 80% of the sinus infections are viral.
Okay.
And antibiotics don't do anything but make you immune to antibiotics. Help build a super bug. In other words, kills all the little bugs, so that the ones that do survive are super bugs, and they're immune to the antibiotic. But these guys have come up with a program. They got $70,000 for their program to develop a test strip that can distinguish between whether you have a virus infection or whether you have a bacterial infection. Because a bacterial infection, the antibiotics will cure, the bang, but that's only 20% of the people that have infections. So there's 80% of them that are getting antibiotic shots, and
it's not doing anything.
It's not doing anything. It runs up the cost of Medicare and all of the other stuff. So these guys figure they've got a real market for this, and they're just because the infections is coming from the sinus. If you sample the nasal passages, you may not get a true picture of what's going on. He said working to develop a medical device to ensure diagnostic swabs collect the material from the right part of the nose.
How long is that swab going to be?
One of the guys says that the bacteria live under a substrata, and it's kind of like the dirt that's over an anthill.
Okay.
So you got to get through the dirt down to the ant to find out whether it's a virus or a bacteria.
Remember, I had recurring sinus infections.
Yeah.
It was miserable, and it turned out for me that part of the problem was using too much nose spray. and it caused some kind of rebound effect and made it worse and made you remember how sick I was. I was in bad shape.
And there was a lot of trips to the hospital and getting shots and all that.
And I went off the nose spray and only use it for 4 days once in a while, and I'm 1,000% better. However, with the pollination out there right now, I'm coughing today.
Yeah, we'll have to give you a pill. Well, you remember a few weeks back here we made a comment about the Columbus Dispatch credit scar. They had a 6-part program story that talked about the people that are scarred from having an improper, uncorrectable credit report. Now, a credit report in these days and times, if you go to get a car, it tells how much that you're going to ask for a down payment. It tells how much interest. This is the result of the data there. And you go get a mortgage, your mortgage rate is dependent upon whether you have a good credit score. There's 3 major programs. The Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion are the biggies. And they have 200 million reports that they do.
That's a lot of reports.
And they claim that we only have less than 1% errors.
With 200 million.
That's 2 million reports that are in error. And
that's a lot of people.
Well, to Equifax and those guys, it's of no consequence because they got 99% of the people that they're dealing with, and the people that pay them for the credit report are their customers. Mm-hmm. The people that are getting screwed, if you pardon me, are not customers anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. Well, the investigation by the Columbus Dispatch said that the companies were not motivated to correct their information. They said our information is not our responsibility. We report what other people give us. Yeah, so and they make no effort to verify that it's accurate or that it came from a proper source.
And that's not right, because with so much depends upon this credit score, that it should be 100% accurate. I mean, if you can't get a house, a car, this, that, and the other thing.
Well, the problem with the whole thing was not the errors, because those are the people that type in the error reports are the minimum wage people. That's where you start when you go in, and there's no. So the errors are going to be built into the system, but they have no provision for correcting it.
That's not right either.
Okay, well,
a form on the internet.
Well, what came out of this was Michael Devine, our Attorney General for the state of Ohio, has already developed a program. Credit reporting agencies' practices are so highly automated, and consumers' evidence of errors and inaccuracies are reduced to codes and rarely reviewed by humans. Devine said last week that he cannot confirm that an investigation is underway. However, he has become an outspoken critic of the credit reporting system, which largely ignores consumers. It's a national program, Devine said, and it's every state's problem. The new unit was created in reaction to the Dispatch Credit Scar series, and it will contact creditors, debt collectors, and credit reporting agencies on behalf of the victims to correct unblemished records. So they've got it it's already starting to work.
Well, that's good.
And then the federal government, finally, the FBI has been authorized to start September the 30th with their investigation. Now, all they're doing right at the moment is asking questions, but they want to verify the accurate information. They want to verify the accuracy of the information, and the half of the consumers reported to the FTC said they couldn't persuade the agency to correct the errors. So they've got to establish a program. Now, with those two guys in there, and the costs will come up in the
Well, at least they're trying to do something about it.
Well, it's an election year, you know.
Hey, yay for elections.
You don't have to hold your breath, but you can breathe once every 2 times. Today we presented a group of stories and opinions with a script for the most part. Some may be as funny to you as they were to us.
Maybe not.
No attempt was made at true education. Our intent was to amuse and entertain. We hope you find our offer amusing.
10 seconds.
This program has achieved Blog Talk Radio, captured and archived by YouTube Radio, and linked to our Facebook. Our mission is to stimulate your thinking,
Prod your mind into new channels.
pump up your interest in life, and rebuild your enthusiasm.
Whether you're pro or con, we insist you join us as we investigate,
Evaluate and
participate.
participate. We want to thank you for listening to our podcast. We'll return with our continuing viewpoints next Tuesday.
I'm Teresa.
I'm Steve, and thank you for listening.
Think positive.
Be positive.
Live positive.
Enjoy.
See ya.
Gigi Blankies, thank you for listening to the podcast today. This program is archived at Blog Talk Radio, captured and archived for YouTube video, and linked to Facebook as Musings with Steve and Teresa. Think positive, be positive, live positive, and enjoy.